Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to the show. Let's get into it, y'all. I am at a place in my heart and mind and soul where I want the freedom to be true to what is stirring in my heart and mind and soul. And I don't know how to go about that. I don't know if I am supposed to go about that. And it is, man, it's really interesting because I didn't used to be someone who cried really ever. And I have definitely cried every week for the past 6 weeks, more than once a week on certain weeks. And it's not really related to any one specific thing. There's just multiple areas in my life that I'm being tested and stretched in. But there's this one particular area of my life where I know what it is for me, and I know what I want it to be for me. But I don't know how to make that happen, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be trying to make that happen, so I don't do anything about it. And it's like getting to this point, and maybe one day when I'm on the other side of this, I could talk more in depth about it, but I can't right now just because, that's the thing about having, putting content out there is while I am very transparent about some things, some stuff I'm not, just because you don't really know who's listening. And there's beauty in that, not knowing who's listening. But then at the same time, because I don't know who's listening and because this is something that I'm still in the struggle, you feel me? Like I'm still trying to I'm not even trying to figure anything out. I know what it is. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, golly. Man. And I'm very much so funny because there are a lot of people in my life that ask my opinion. And one time I did ask someone, because it's a lot of people that are kind of like in the same world or whatever. Or maybe not necessarily same world, but kind of, because it's like the only places I really go is work, which is also church, and the gym. I don't really do too much else right now because I don't have a vehicle. And so people will ask my opinion. And sometimes when they ask me, I'm like, do you really want to talk about that? Because I am not I'm either just not going to say anything. I'm not going to say it maliciously, but I'm going to tell the truth, like when asked things or whatever. And so to be in a position, I'm really realizing this as I'm talking this out. See, this is why I do what I do. If no one was to ever listen to this show, I can't say that I would stop, because I just realized that part of my issue with this one specific thing in my heart and mind that I'm wrestling with, the biggest stressor about it for me is the fact that I can't be true to myself right now, because I don't know how to. And yeah, that's one big thing, is I don't know how to. But then there's also I don't know that I'm really actually supposed to, because sometimes we want things, or we have things, desires, or we have whatever, that at least it's been my experience that sometimes I have wanted things that then, I could think of jobs that I wanted. I remember this one time, I really actually thought I was going to get this job, and then I didn't. And I was actually kind of upset about just the way that it went. Come to find out, I want to say that next year when the pandemic hit, I would have been without a job if I had got that job. So, with stuff like that, but I so strongly felt like I wanted that job. And so now this is a little different. It's not a job, but still it's like, I don't know. I'm I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, in a lot of parts of my life, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing right now, but in this particular area, I don't know. And so as a result of it, that mainly not knowing what to do or if I should be doing anything, I find myself getting frustrated when I know I'm holding back on whatever it is I feel like I want to do in a moment or in a whatever. I just realized that. I realized that is part of I just want to be free to, I don't even know what it is that I'm really supposed to do, but I just want to be free to be able to figure that out, I guess, without, what's the word I'm looking for? Without any, I guess, limitations maybe, or fears or insecurities would probably be more accurate. And so that plus, I just, I'm not someone who needs to control everything or be in control of everything, but I don't have control, it feels like, at all. I just feel in a lot of ways very tossed to and fro. Shout out to the people that give me rides, but I'm actually actively trying to resolve that right now, because I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine. Man, shout out to him. But I had a conversation with him the other day, and my biggest kind of like thing I've wrestled with is I'm in between places, and then I'm now without a vehicle because the vehicle that I had was a work vehicle, and then I am no longer doing that. And I know that's the way that it was supposed to go. I have no regrets with that. But then it just makes it where it's like, okay, what is the priority right now? And one of the things he said, and it's so funny because he and I have had this conversation many times, and every time it comes up, he always would say, I feel like you should get a car. And I mean, I hear you, but I don't know, And then the way he said it, though, that just made me, because one of the things is I feel like I have no independence right now. And I didn't feel like that until I no longer had a vehicle. It's literally only been 3 weeks. Like, it's not even been that long, but man, And one of the things he said is I could not have my own place yet and get a vehicle and have some independence back. Like, I wouldn't have to like be on other people's schedules when it comes to rides, or I wouldn't have to even, have that worry of, oh, am I a burden to you having to come get me or whatever. I wouldn't have to worry about any of that. I could just come and go as I please, even though I would still be staying with someone. But he said, but if you get a place, but you don't have a car, you still will have to depend on people. And so it's kind of like, once he said that, I just was like, So then I've kind of done some legwork to try to kind of move things in that direction. So hopefully something pans out pretty quickly, just because he's actually one of my main rides, because he used to live on the way to I was on his way to everywhere we go, because we work together, we go to the same gym. And so it's like, it wasn't out of his way to come pick me up to go wherever, but he moved. He's probably done by now, but like moving, and now it's like he's closer to everywhere we go. So now, granted, he did say, in the meanwhile, well, we could work whatever out for him to still give me rides, but it's like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that. And the reason why is I'm way out the way now. Like, he's super close to our gym. He's super close to the church when we have to go there. Now the office, I'm closer to the office, but it's still out the way for him to come get me because he would have to literally pass the office and then come grab me and then go back. Now it's only 5 minutes, but still, I'm not comfortable with that. Even though he said, yeah, we can work whatever out. The way I look at it is I'm the type of person that gas money, because up until now he hasn't. I did ask him like, hey, do you want me to give you gas money? And he was like, no, because you're on the way. I would definitely give him gas money, whatever rides now. But here's the thing, it's like I'm somebody that gas money is cool, but my time is what's more valuable. And so if something is going to take up unnecessary time, this is how I think. The gas money is not going to make me be like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? He has never said that, and he and I are two different people, but because I feel that way, I don't know. And so it's such a weird season right now. It's like I'm super hopeful. I don't even know what I'm hopeful for. Like, it's so weird. It just feels like a season ended. And it could be because my life typically, and I've said this from the beginning, each season now is 25 weeks. And it always has been that when a new season starts of this show, something shifts in some area of my life. And so as next week, as the next episode is the last episode of the season, I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's because it's like coming up on spring, even though around these parts where I live, that don't mean it won't snow next week, because that's just how it gets down. You know what I mean? But it could be that. I don't know what it is where I'm like really, really hopeful, like God is about to do something. But then again, at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I hope so, because like he needs to, because there's just so many things that I am kind of working through all at the same time. And then let's go back to what I was talking to at the beginning. It's this whole I'm being fake right now, and it drives me nuts, but I don't even know how to go about being true to what's going on. I don't know. So like, yeah, it's a weird season. It's a season of, I don't know if it's mourning. I just know I cry a lot. I feel very, very deeply, and sometimes like the only way I know how to release whatever it is I'm feeling is to cry, which is not a bad thing, because at least like I remember the other day, I literally sat on my bed and I was like, okay, I'm gonna feel these feelings, I'm gonna cry. I did, and then I moved on with life. I don't even really fully know why I was crying, or maybe it's just everything all at once. I don't know. There's a lot. Adjusting to a new job has been interesting too, because I worked so autonomously for like 3.5 years. And so to be fully submerged, lots of peopling. And so I remember one day we had a long day. Thursdays are typically longer days for me because before work, I lead a women's Zoom small group. And so my day starts, like, I'll go into the office, try to get there by like 6:50 at the latest, because my small group starts at 7 and then we're supposed to be to the office by 8. So I'm like, well, I'd rather just already be there. Just, even if we had to be there a little later, I'd probably still want to already be there just so that I'm already like situated or whatever. And then we also had a evening, like a leadership night that night. So like I literally was at the office. Now, mind you, I did leave for lunch, but still it was a long work day. And so then it's like there was this point before the leadership night happened where I remember telling the people that were there, like, I have reached the threshold on peopling for myself. Because it's like I have to do a lot of extroverted things, right? Like a lot. And I'm having to find ways how to recharge myself. One of the things I did, is so funny. I was at a wedding earlier and it was a morning wedding. And so they had the ceremony and then they had the reception, and there was like, coffee and breakfast pastry. So it wasn't like dancing and all that, which I'm not offended by at all, because it was in the middle of the day, and then I knew I had to like actually work after that. And so I remember I was talking to some people, and I think they were leaving. All I know is they was no longer around me. And instead of going and finding somebody else to talk to, what I did was I pulled out my phone and I just stood there looking at my phone. I wasn't even, and then I kind of looked around and people watched and whatever. Wasn't even looking at anything. It wasn't whatever. But what that helped me do was disengage from, what was going on around me, and kind of like have some time to myself to recharge. Then I went and go, because I knew a lot of people there, just because it was somebody from my church. So like a lot of people from church were there, whatever. And so I'm having to learn how to recharge myself in, during days when it's just a lot of people. And I feel like that's the biggest adjustment. Don't get me wrong, I love what I get to do. It like checks off so many things. Like I'm doing creative stuff. Like that is such a huge blessing. Like having the fact that my job is in the creative space, being the marketing director, like it's helping me like tap back into that. There's lots of different things that I do, so that helps me check off the box of I like to have different things, so it's not just the same thing. It's work that has meaning, and there's some flexibility, right? It's not just the typical, oh, you work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And so it checks off so many boxes for me. But there's always a cost for everything. And I feel like the biggest cost for me is all the peopling that I do, not because I don't like people. I love people, and I love the conversations that I have with people, and I love the people that I work with. Like we laugh, we joke, we have fun, we whatever. But I am an introvert. And so it is not life-giving. Like I don't feel refreshed and recharged being around people. I actually feel refreshed and recharged being by myself. So that, I'd say that's the cost. It's worth it though, but it's been an adjustment. It's so funny because I think it might have been like the first week I started, or like, officially being on staff. I don't remember, there's just been a lot of struggles. Who knows what I was struggling with, but I just remember being like upset about something, and then being upset because, well, I couldn't leave and go anywhere because we actually had a meeting that we were going to have in like half an hour or something like that. And I remember being frustrated about that. Like, I want to go home and I want to whatever. And I can't even do that because it was one of the office days. So it's just really interesting how I've had to learn how to navigate just different things while I'm still like around people. So yeah, it's such a time to be alive right now. I've said that a lot lately because, man, it is, but I know I'm growing. I know I am, like, there's just different ways where I am being true to what I feel or think I want to do. And so I'm proud of myself in those moments because I know how I would have responded to certain things in the past, or acted like I didn't care about certain things. I think is more so what it is, instead of actually like having that vulnerability to let people know that, hey, I notice you are switching up the way you're doing this or that or whatever, right? And so it's such an interesting time, but there's still, I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to one day tell y'all what it is that I was struggling with. Today definitely ain't the day, you feel me? But that's kind of where I'm at. It's really interesting because, I'm still on my Snatch 40s journey and going to CrossFit 3 to 4 days a week. And I am really seeing my growth and my just improvement with my physical fitness and just my ability to do certain things or not struggle as much doing certain things. And it's so crazy how, like, when I started at this gym, I didn't even know how to jump rope correctly, which just sounds so wild, but it's not like I'd really be out here jump roping. But I just remember we had to do these fundamentals classes where they basically show you the basic movements and really just kind of see where you're at. And she had me jump roping, and she had to like to get me to jump rope correctly. So then we had a workout last week where it was like I had to do 56 single unders because we ain't to the double unders level yet, and that's okay. But I had to do 56 of them, and I was able to just do it without stopping. And I'm like, man, I remember I didn't even know how to jump rope correctly and couldn't jump rope without like tripping over the jump rope or whatever. And look at me now, you feel me? Then the rower, like I wasn't doing that correctly. Like they are very big on form where I'm at, like the gym that I go to now. Like I'm not going to say the other gym didn't care about form at all, because that's not true. But I just feel like I'd almost say they're more nitpicky about it where I'm at now. And like, so I wasn't doing the rower correctly. And so, okay, I'm more intentional, because when, I don't want to have y'all keep coming and telling me I'm not doing something correctly. And we had a workout day the other day for staff workout where it was just rowing. Now, listen, cardio, I'm growing, and that's because I'm just now being consistent, and I can see improvement in my lungs don't quite feel as much like they want to explode as they used to. Because even when I was doing CrossFit before, I wasn't as consistent as I am now because of various reasons. But now it's like when you work with or go to church with people, and especially working with people, like we've shifted our work thing to where about 3 or 4 of us go to the same classes throughout the week. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, we'll go at 8, Wednesdays, staff workouts at 10, and then on Fridays, we go at 9. So knowing we're all going together, that plus one of the people, he's my ride. And so like, there's no reason for me to say I'm not going if, So it's really helped me to be consistent. So I'm seeing improvement in like my lungs don't quite feel as much like they want to explode when I do stuff. And so when we had that rower exercise, I was able to hit the targets. And I remember the last time I had a rower heavy exercise, it was a struggle. And so just I'm seeing like that improvement too, which makes me happy. My clothes are fitting differently and stuff. And I've even had one of my coworkers, she asked me, like basically she asked me if I was losing weight, and I was like, I hope so, as much as I be doing. And then she said she could tell, or it looked like it or something. So all that is cool. But what I like, I actually really like CrossFit. It's really interesting. It makes me feel strong and like I can just do whatever. And then also by starting the day like that, it's like, it's probably the most difficult thing I'll do in that day. And it's like people of all fitness levels, we're all struggling together. That's what I like about it too, because there's the scaled version, there's the RX version. So once you should be constantly challenging yourself to grow. And then there's the RX plus. I'm always with the scaled, you know what I mean? I'm just starting. But my whole point is no matter what fitness level people are at in that class, like everyone's struggling together to get it done. So that's what I appreciate. So yeah, that is where I'm at. Hopefully, I don't know. I just really want to be true to what I want to do. I don't even know how to go about that, like I said, but I'm tired of faking. Like, I'm just tired of being fake in this one particular area, but I don't know, man. That's just where I'm at right now, y'all. So that is what I have for y'all this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you are taking care of yourself mentally, and make sure you are taking care of yourself emotionally. Make sure you are taking care of yourself spiritually, physically. Do all that, take care of yourself so that you can be healthy in your relationships. Like, that is so important, to have healthy dynamics in relationships, contend for unity in relationships, especially, man, that's one of the things I'm big on when it comes to the work that I do, because now that I'm in ministry, and for me, because not everybody's going to care about, ministry, but for me, it's something that has meaning. And because the meaning means so much to me and the people that I work with, unity is important. Unity is important in all things when you're trying to do stuff, working with people, period. And so it's like, in all your relationships, though, contend for unity. Like, deal with your crap. I really have had to really walk this out of processing my fears, processing my insecurities, to ensure that when I'm triggered, I'm not mistreating the other person on the other side of my trigger, because so far it's my own thing. It hasn't been anyone has like actually done anything for real wrong. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, make sure you contend for unity, and that's all I got. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for